And then our mandate is UCP, maybe you've heard of it, as NP, an armed civilian protection. We believe in community engagement that is a powerful tool for sustainable peace in the community. Once I was an IDP since 2013, since the conflict started in South Sudan, and I was among the beneficiaries of the UN peacekeeping. I'm very happy also that I was hosted by the UN peacekeeping. And but for the long run also, we have seen there is a need to support the UN peacekeeping through the civilian protection skills as well, because like NP and other civil society organizations, they are focusing more on how to engage the local community to take the ownership of the POC or the protection of civilians, because we cannot say that the peace will be sustainable if we always talk about having the resources only for the mission to continue. Until when is that peace going to be sustainable? That means we are creating dependency for the government not to take the responsibility of protection of civilians. And then the government will continue buying time because they will know that it is their responsibility to protect their civilians. Therefore, as a person who is still a civilian, because I'm still living in Bentiu IDP camp up to now, because it has been transitioned from POC to Bentiu IDP camp. I'm talking from experience and the great work the UN peacekeeping is doing in the ground. But it's limited due to this flooding as well, as the United States is flooded. And also it's limited because there is a need for cooperation between the UN peacekeeping and the civil organizations in the ground. As much as we need the presence of the uniformed men and women, we also need the civil society organizations to build the capacity of the local community so that this protection of civilians will be sustainable. One of the great things that NP is doing in the ground is having a local community protection teams. I think our colleagues who came from Bentiu, you know that. We have women protection teams, and we have youth protection teams, and also we have male gender champions. These are locally trained men and women and youth so that they can train other community, and they are trained based on the local capacities, and they apply the cultural values, since in culture, in many cultures, men, they were assigned to provide protection. Now, these women and men, their work is to remind the community that we are not violent. We are naturally created. We are loving fathers. We are loving brothers. So what happened in the middle? I believe there is a need for the mission and the civil society organization to work together, so that while the mission is carrying on the uniform work, although the civil society organization, because they have that capacity as well, this will enhance the sustainability of peace. We don't need no longer to live in POCs. Maybe many of you do not know how it's hard to live in POC. It creates the dependency syndrome to the extent that you think you are vulnerable forever, but yet you are strong. We need that spirit to build their capacity so that they know they are strong. I have lived for more than 8 years in POC, and it felt so bad, because even if you have the talent, you cannot express it, because you will be only seen as a vulnerable person. I don't need anyone to live like that, because it's not good to be in POC. The real POC is when I'm living and staying, like when I came to Kigali, I felt so safe the moment I landed. This is the safety we need. This is the real POC we need. We don't need POC where it's guarded by military, and then me, I'm being protected from my own government. Is that the real peace we need? It's not that real peace we need. We need sustainable peace, where even the mission goes, but peace continue to rise. And then the more we will have few POCs, then the more we'll have very peaceful communities. How many times are we going to ask for resources to build POCs? The world is going bad. As we know now, in many countries, there are many wars. And civil society organizations and UN peacekeeping need to work for sustainable development activities rather than dependency activities that will keep us hostage all the time. I appreciate UN peacekeeping a lot, and I appreciate all the civil society organizations. And therefore, it's good to work together instead of competing for one civil society or for one civilian. Let us work together as a world so that all these resources we put it in one basket and then help the community rise. And then we leave them while they continue with the projects that we have done with them. And then we go to another places where they need it.